back from the recent past and into the present. With another video on, well, explaining my current stance on PlayStation, and after that, a request to those, I guess, especially skeptical towards, I guess, Sony's success with the PlayStation, specifically their future towards next generation with the PS5, whether it's going to sell well or not. Yeah, get to that later. So do I think? I mean, yeah, their online services could be definitely improved upon. I'd say definitely with the pre-order sort of services, which it's not really good. Fortunately, I've kind of dealt with that sort of difficulty there. As far as like the games that they put out, I definitely enjoyed playing them. Uncharted 4, yeah, definitely enjoyed it for what it was. Horizon Zero Dawn, one of the best looking games out there, or maybe arguably the best looking game out there. And I really did enjoy the combat as far as like going up against those Stunner Jaws, Bellowbacks, the world. Yeah, I really did. And I guess going forward, I did enjoy God of War in terms of how do I say? How brutal the combat is, or just how, I guess, sort of combo-y the combat is. Yeah, I really did enjoy that game. Yeah, definitely. And I guess as far as Spider-Man, even though this kind of doesn't really, I guess, exactly count because it's made by Insomniac and they're not owned by Sony, but it's still the Sony-owned game. I really did enjoy, swinging around this Manhattan. I'd say, yeah, that's definitely been something. And I think the overall combat and yeah, pretty much. And then I guess with Days Gone, the most unpolished first party lineup or installment or game of theirs from the past few years, really did enjoy the game for what it really was, even though it definitely I did definitely experience a couple borderline rare sort of freezes, and even though it didn't freeze the console itself, I'd say definitely graphical issues, like in like, I guess, the most random or rare sort of circumstances and all that. And I guess those were technical issues. I really did enjoy, like, I'd say how dynamic the overall combat is in relation to the open world, and how, I guess, things don't, like, whatever happens doesn't have to be the same, doesn't happen to be the same. Really, like, I think, I think one day you go up against Marauders, the other day you may face a bear, maybe, or a screamer. Yeah, I guess to sum up my experience of playing the game, it's Breath of the Wild's, I think, overall combat in the open world, kind of, but I guess more hardcore because you have to worry so much more about inventory management and all that. So, and I guess the interesting thing is that this was made with 133 to 136 people. So, so I'm kind of really, I mean, and as far as like from what I've heard from most people who played this, I don't know if this is the best thing to look at, but I think according to Metacritic, I think user score, it's like right now currently it's an 8.1. So I think initially it was a 10.9. So I mean, like a small first party studio like that is able to craft something, craft a pretty ambitious game, especially with the amount of zombies on screen, the max amount of zombies that can be there on screen, which only happened once, and it was in the main mission, and still end up being, I say, playable, or like, yeah, playable and can still be enjoyed. It's definitely something to really, I say, maybe take seriously. And I kind of really do hope to see more. I guess maybe see Nintendo kind of sort of take a crack at it if there's one of those guys who have something creative and inventive that can definitely be a success. If it, I guess if it's like predicted or forecast to be that way. Of course, with taking more precaution to make it polished as possible, but just I would like to see them do that. If Sony Venom was able to do that, especially when they haven't, yeah, I think their last console game I think was back in like PS2 or PS1. So yeah, so I guess that's really about it from my experience. And I mean, that's what I'm really looking forward to, I guess, what the PS5 would be, was just what the sequels to, if Days Gone sells well, which it's selling well as of right now, when it seems, and especially for a new IP. And I guess back to the whole sequel talk, I am looking forward to seeing what the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Spider-Man, and Days Gone brings to the table. Really, it is a point, but I'm actually kind of cautiously optimistic, I think, as far as, or I guess more neutral in this sort of circumstance where I'm going to give them the minimum benefit of the doubt that they'll deliver. Yeah. And then as far as them succeeding with PS5, it's debatable. I guess it really can't be. I guess it can't be refuted. I guess you could say that they probably won't, I guess, have additional support initially that they did with the PS4 with the whole like always online sort of fiasco and whatever. Yeah, you get what I mean, back in like 2013 and all that. But given how like their first party new IPs have definitely sold exceptionally well, maybe with I think Horizon Zero Dawn's at 10, I think, or maybe over. But the last recorded was like 10, and that was, I think, earlier this year. God of War, I think it was 10 also, and that's earlier this year. And then I think Spider-Man's at 9, and that was like late last year. It might be 10 this year. And Days Gone actually, I guess, like from sales records, actually looking to sell well also too. So, I mean, and that's not something you could really exactly say for Nintendo specifically, because, or at least for, well, I don't know if it would be most of the cases, but I think the only, well, not even Splatoon looking at it right now, I mean, that could change if they sell more consoles and all that, but if Splatoon 2 does not sell 10 million, right? This pretty much goes back to what I'm saying about, like, I kind of want to see definitely Nintendo have that similar sort of, I guess, success as far as, like, getting in, like, 10 million or about 10 million for their, like, new IPs out the gate, pretty much. Because, like, especially with Xenoblade Chronicles, like, series, it has never, like, really gone, like, as high as those numbers, and it's definitely been staying like I think in between like 1 to 2 million. That might be. But I think it's kind of like I know it's definitely like under 3 million for sure. Like from looking at their IR sales so far, so. Sorry for interruption. I guess as I was saying, as far as I guess in relation to Xenoblade Chronicles, I guess the recent Xenoblade Chronicles games numbers, I really would like them at least the next, yeah, definitely the next entry to definitely sell more um, than past installments. It's definitely something we'd all kind of hope, because then it could kind of, I guess, I mean, not that they're still not going to make any more, they will, but it would be nice to really, I guess, push that game to be one of the top selling franchises, to really, I guess, push Nintendo to maybe do better as far as the game design sort of standpoint. I mean, that's what I think, really. So as far as like the software sales with like Sony's new IPs, it's been the best, I think, probably ever, because like PS1, I think it was only Gran Turismo, and I think that was it. Like I don't know about Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, because they're like around. I think they're like around 5. I think according to VG charts, Spyro I think is lower than that. Last time I checked, PS2 I think it's probably. I think it's probably worse. Probably overall, I think with Gran Turismo being the only one to still sell exceptionally well, and then PS3, I think it was just Uncharted. I think like God of War maybe is still there, but it's like at like 4 point something million, I think. So yeah, and then now looking at it with PS4, it's not just Uncharted or The Last of Us. It's all these other new IPs that come out. So I mean, I think the only thing that can really put the PS5 success into question is really it's really I'd say I guess their money situation, which some still say to be not really good still, to be I guess arguably on the verge of bankruptcy. And I guess that really does fall with my request of for those who are like skeptical of them succeeding in PS5, and because of their financial sort of situation going on, especially I think PSVR and how like that I understand PSVR is very expensive and it only sold that many units unless there's something going on that I don't know, but like according to like those sort of like figures and projections, it's not really good. um, for like a platform like that to sell that much when it's very expensive, and then the software sales not really help itself out unless they're using, I guess, PS4 software sales to help themselves out. Not. really so sure about that. So, but still, I do want to put my request, or really, or still want to request for those to really, I guess, be more clear, or be more, or yeah, supply like more evidence of why um, they won't really have the same, I guess, in like overall, like why they won't really have the same success like for the PS5 that they did with the PS4. And I say that's really about it. And this, I guess, may be my last, I guess, like reason why I haven't really, I guess, actually, I'll just, yeah, never mind about what I was about to say. Yeah, so I guess the last thing I'll say is when the PS5 does end up coming out, it will really, I guess, it will be the like it will be the answer to whether they'll succeed or not. From my standpoint, I guess of it, I think they'll announce it. I think sometime next year, like in a second, sometime in the back half, and maybe they'll talk about the power, maybe not as much. And really, I guess, show a couple, like, I think, show sequels to the games I mentioned previously: Spider Man, God of War, Horizon Dawn, and or maybe more on Horizon Dawn 2. And and yeah, and just push those games to really sell their consoles, which I guess even even those who were still pretty skeptical of whether he'll succeed next gen or not. I guess have wanted them to really just push their first party titles in to support the console, which they're supposed to. Yeah. So, I mean, I think with the amount of marketing they put with those games, and I believe they're definitely going to put as much, especially next gen. And I think they'll sell just as much, if not better, than their prequels or predecessors. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Maybe it won't reach like as much of the numbers as PS4. Maybe because there probably won't be some similar to 2013 where there was like some like always online sort of like crazy stuff started going around. But yeah, it's debatable whether they'll succeed or not. That's all I will say on that. At least it seems on my side of it. If there are people who end up actually giving me the news, giving me an information as to why, like especially like recent financial information as to why they probably won't really have as much success on the our next gen as they did this gen. Yeah. So with that being said, that's about it. As I like pretty much we said, or should always say, see me in a close future.